Happy Monday morning. It's Robin, Drive Time, African Payment Solutions. I hope you've had a fantastic weekend. So today I thought I'd chat about like 5 tips for multinational e-commerce companies who are looking to expand across Africa, and just to give them some pointers in terms of a soft landing on the African or sub-Saharan African continent. So to start with, let's talk about demographics. So let's say I'm going to zoom in on Kenya, Nigeria, South Africa, because they are the main e-commerce hubs in sub-Saharan Africa, and a good place to start. So when it comes to populations, Kenya is about 50 million, Nigeria is almost 200 million, and South Africa is about 60 million. And South Africa is an interesting anomaly because yes, it's well developed, but it has a very high Gini coefficient. So it's got a lot of poor people and a fair amount of rich people who are well educated, kind of middle upper class, who are connected, literate, and have a means to pay. And they're used to shopping. They've been introduced to it by Take-A-Lot, for example, big e-commerce company in South Africa. Nigeria has the biggest population, but it's kind of divided along rural and urban lines. So more than half the population have a low level of literacy, and they live in rural areas and are very under-resourced in terms of connectivity and so on. So more than 8 cities have more than 1 million people. Lagos has got about 10 million people. So yeah, the literacy levels and connectivity is relatively high. Kenya is like a 70-30 rural-urban spread, 80% literacy rate, and almost 10% of the Kenyan population live in Nairobi. English is well understood across all of those territories. Then infrastructure-wise, the level of infrastructure varies. Nigeria and Kenya are under construction, so it's poor roads, erratic provision of electricity, and it's quite difficult to get the right delivery addresses from an e-commerce delivery perspective. Mobile connectivity is very good, or relatively good and affordable in the cities like Nairobi and Lagos. And then South Africa's got a very well developed infrastructure. It's well connected. It's the roads are good. Yes, so South Africa's an easy place to do business from that perspective. And then devices in Kenya and Nigeria, it's pretty much mobile only economy, so you won't see many PCs. Smartphone ownership is less than 50% in Kenya and Nigeria. In South Africa, is a high level of smartphone and PC, so slightly more richer e-commerce experience. Smartphone ownership is probably more like 80%. Then to move to the ability to get paid, it's pretty easy to get paid across all 3 of those jurisdictions. So Kenya is M-Pesa, it's the dominant mobile money in the country, and cards. It's got quite a high level of card penetration. And then Nigeria is mainly cards and bank transfers. And South Africa is you're pretty good with cards, debit and credit cards in South Africa. Then in terms of repatriating funds, Kenya's very simple. Nigeria has a liquidity problem from time to time, so getting your money back is sometimes problematic. And South Africa has capital controls, so as long as it's reported incorrectly, you can get it out. And then in terms of e-commerce readiness, based on our experience, South Africa is definitely the easiest market to be doing e-commerce in. As I said, Take-A-Lot, for example, and there's a number of large e-commerce companies that have educated the populace, and it's relatively well connected. And then Kenya is also a tech-friendly, people are friendly, it's an easy jurisdiction to do business. And then Nigeria, even though it's the biggest, it can be quite problematic. There's quite a lot of kind of legislative it somehow just is from time to time a little bit more complicated than the other jurisdictions to do business. So yeah, if it was in our experience observing our e-commerce companies, I would say that we start with South Africa, and then we go to Kenya, and then Nigeria as a last resort. So Yeah, when you're feeling brave. Well, that's all from me today, so I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll chat again tomorrow.